What is up, guys? This is Brad with Despite Fitness, and I'm going to do a form check today. This was a form check that I promised I would do a little while ago, and it's been a little while coming, so it's been difficult to sit down and get after it, but I have made the time, so I apologize for it being so late. Anyhow, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a little form check on some deadlift. This is for Marc. Marc has been a friend of the channel, been following, commenting, posting, been very active on the channel. So Marc, thank you so much for all the support and activity on the channel. I really do appreciate it. And this is a video that that Marc sent me a little while ago, asked me to take a look at it, and it's a video of Marc attempting a 550-pound deadlift. So let's go ahead and take a look at the deadlift right now.
There you go.
Okay, so as you can see, there are some issues with the deadlift. It was an unsuccessful attempt, and that's not cool. We want to make sure that we hit our attempts when we deadlift. And so there's obviously a number of things here that I see that I think that we could work on and improve. So I'm going to try to break it down kind of frame by frame, and we will go through it right about now. All right, so here we go. So Marc, he sets up, he's got the bar loaded, and, approaches the bar. Starts kind of hyping himself up. First off, I would get a new deadlift belt. This is a very thin, very narrow belt. Doesn't provide you much support. And I might go with something like, standard, standard Inzer belt. One that is the same thickness throughout. That's what I've always preferred lifting in, so that'd be maybe one of my first recommendations. Get a belt that's actually going to give you some more support. I mean, we're talking that's like 2 inches of support. And studies have shown that you get better abdominal activation from having a belt on, because it gives you that kinesthetic cue. So I would say a bigger, thicker, heavier belt might be a little bit better, as you get a little bit more activation across the abdomen to keep you in a better position. Okay, moving forward. Gets himself queued up, he's ready, steps in. All right, now you can see here, Marc has already got his shins kind of against the bar. I'm never really a big fan of that. So in almost all of my setups, my shins really never touch the bar. I've never had track marks and scrape marks up and down my shins. I keep the bar close to me, but I don't rake it up my shins. So I'd say that he's probably, too much forward tilt with his knees to start with. It's interesting though, because you'll see something here coming up that's a bit odd too. We'll get to that here in just a second. So gets his hands set, and you can see him gripping on that bar. Now, I would argue here that Marc is in a very terrible position. I wish this was more straight on, but it almost looks like his knees are a little caved in, kind of inside of his feet. And I would say that that's probably not a great place to be. You really want the knee over the ankle and the hip over the knee, because that's called stacking. And one of the best ways to apply pressure is in a straight line. So when you have these off angles of your joints, the knee kicked over, not over top of the ankle, it's not a mechanically sound position to start applying power from. And I would also say that, Marc is probably starting the deadlift way too low. Because you'll see as he begins to initiate the pull, his hips rise considerably. Now, one thing I'm not a fan of is that the arm is bent here. So he has arms bent, and that arm is almost kicked under like this. And I would say that if you initiate the start of the deadlift from this position, it puts a tremendous strain on the bicep, and that's a great way to blow a bicep. So I would want to see a straight and extended arm, extended wrist, and you're treating your hands like hooks. They're just there to hold on to the bar, not to try to curl the bar. Raises up. His arms are a little bit more straight, but again, now they're bent. And he launches right into the pull. Now you can see that those hips rise considerably, right? So the hips have jumped up considerably, and there's really the bar hasn't left the floor at all. So I would say that a starting position for you should actually be higher, Mark. You shouldn't dip so low into the deadlift. It's not providing you any advantage. In fact, by the time the bar breaks the floor, your hips are here. So that might be a good starting position. Maybe here or just slightly lower with a straight back. Now, you know, from onset, you've had this rounded back. So I would say that you're probably not braced real well abdominally, and you already have the significant thoracic rounding, which isn't helping you. So launches in. Now look at here. This is that weird part that I was talking about. That bar actually kicks back at you. Bar kicks back, and you go even more over top of the bar, which is not going to put you in a great position to perform the deadlift. So here wasn't bad position. All right, it looks like the shoulders are maybe just slightly in front of the bar, but those hips rise up, and it pulls that bar closer to you and puts you off balance even more. You know, so then here, so you see how much more he's leaning forward in these three frames, how much more he leans forward. That's not a position you want to be. You'd want to have a more straight back, have a more upright, you know, position, and you certainly want to have yourself being pulled forward the way that this is presenting. He begins to fight through it, gets up over the knee, and again, you know, just in a real bad position. That back wasn't straight and flat, so he's already rounded over. You can see those shoulders. The shoulders are considerably rounded over at this point, and it's going to make it extraordinarily difficult to finish the lift. And, you know, as we saw, in fact, he gives up on it. All right, so those are kind of my, you know, what I see in the video. So, you know, Mark, my feedback for you is, you know, take more time on that setup. You know, get yourself in a good position. Make sure that the bar is bisecting your foot. I'm generally not a fan of my shin touching the bar, but, you know, some people do. The other thing that I want to say is a good abdominal brace, right? So right from the outset, you know, you're sunk real deep into that squat position. You know, you're already rounded over. So before you initiate any activity on that bar, you want to make sure that you pull the shoulder blades back. Keep that upper back nice and tight and flat so you can avoid that thoracic rounding. You know, good abdominal brace, again, so you don't cave over and cause some more thoracic rounding. And then you should pre-tension that bar. So before you begin to actually initiate and try to pull into the bar, you want to make sure that you kind of pull that slack out of the bar. You know, that allows you to kind of stay nice and tight, get in a good optimal position, versus just trying to explode into the bar recklessly even. You know, that's, you know, you can see what that did. It put you in a weird position. The bar ended up kicking back towards you, which pulled you forward over the bar and put you in an even less optimal position to be able to apply force to that bar. So those are some of my major criticisms for, you know, for the deadlift. Now, even given some of the flaws that you demonstrated here with this particular deadlift, you know, you're still pulling 550, which is, or attempting 550, which is, you know, probably a little bit more than some folks. So even despite some of these flaws, you're able to kind of at least, you know, break it off the floor, get up over your knee, you know, a considerable weight. So I think that if you're able to shore up some of these weaknesses, that you'd be able to have a much more proficient, much better deadlift, and you could surprise yourself with some of the results that you have. Anyway, so Mark, I hope that this little review of your deadlift helps. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave in the chat box below. I'll be sure to respond. Mark, I appreciate the opportunity to do a review on this video, because not only will it help you, but hopefully it'll help out someone else who has similar issues. I find that a lot of new lifters and young lifters have some of these same issues as well. So hopefully that provides some help for you guys. Yeah, appreciate any likes, shares, and subscribes. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. And I'll be looking to do some more form checks. So if you guys are out there and you'd like me to take a look at your form for, you know, one of the main movements, I'd be more than happy to do that, provided that I can turn it into a video and be able to help out more people with what I see on your video. Yeah, that's it, guys. Like I said, question, comments, concerns, leave in the chat box below. I'll respond. Appreciate you guys checking it out. And guys, remember, no matter what it is you think you can't do, train despite. You're either going to find an excuse or you're going to find a way. And I hope that you find that way, guys. Appreciate you checking it out, and I will see you in the next one.